Join Lee Bellinger today on the Bellinger Report. Lee is the publisher of Off Grid Confidential, one of the last information financial newsletters to be delivered 100% through the mail and completely independent of the internet and big tech scolds. Lee has been publishing continuously since 1988 and is your guide to off-grid living.
Hi, this is Lee Bellinger of the Bellinger Report, and today I'm talking with Wesley Jacobs, and he runs the Apollo Medical Travel Company, where people can go to different countries and get different procedures done for a lot less money with US board certified doctors in clean, healthy facilities. And Wesley's a graduate of the Virginia Military Institute, and he's a former US Army Infantry Officer. And anyway, I'm going to just go ahead and Wesley, welcome to the Bellinger Report. And the first thing I want to ask you is, how did you get started in this field? And just tell us a little bit about your story.
Hey, Lee, thanks so much for having me on here and appreciate that introduction. I first got interested in health economics and the possibility of medical tourism in a course that I took at the Australian National University as an exchange student. Took a course called Health Economics, took a critical look at the healthcare system in the United States and how there's sort of two different elements of our population, the haves and the have-nots. People with the haves being people with employer-sponsored healthcare, people over 65 with Medicare Advantage. They tend to have really good healthcare outcomes, and our healthcare system is actually really great for people in the fold, people who can access our medical system and get the care that they need. And then there's the have-nots who make too much money to qualify for Medicaid, ironically, who don't have necessarily very good health insurance or benefits. So we're talking construction workers, people in the gig economy, even folks like teachers who are professionals who are earning income but might not have the best benefits. And so wanted to start Apollo Medical Travel to help those people get access to more affordable medical care.
Okay. So tell me how you initially got involved in the medical care field.
So this is a question I often get asked because I was an infantry officer before moving into medical tourism. And so
it is a bit of a jump, isn't it?
It's a big jump. So my previous professional path was not in the healthcare field at all. But as an infantry officer, you get a really great view of people behind closed doors, and you can really see their problems because they can be vulnerable and open up with you. And a lot of times their family life and other stuff will affect them at work. And so you get to dig a little deeper and sort of see how people live and what bothers them across a wide spectrum of the US population. These people from all over the United States. And healthcare is a big problem for families, including families in the United States military, despite the fact that we've got TRICARE. And I was looking for a business problem. I knew that I wanted to get out of the Army and solve a business problem. And I thought that if I could help people get access to healthcare, it would be a very fulfilling career path.
So tell me about by the way, thank you for your service. I forgot to mention that. So what are the biggest challenges that you have faced since founding your medical tourism enterprise? So
in October 2019, I went on terminal leave from the military, meaning that I was getting off the books. I got took my vacation days and went into my civilian status. And I immediately moved to Cartagena, Colombia to learn Spanish. I took intensive Spanish lessons for 5.5 months, just 20 hours a week in the classroom, and then all of the time that I possibly could studying. And I thought that by learning the language, it would really unlock my ability to do business in Spanish-speaking countries. But one problem that I've found in setting up an international business is there's the language barrier, which is substantial. And then something that I underestimated was the cultural barrier. So how people feel about time, how people feel about promises they make in business, how people feel about personal slights that might not be a slight in the United States that are a slight maybe in Mexico or in Colombia, and how to manage those emotions and manage those relationships. And then, of course, there's COVID-19, which is an issue that's affected everybody, and no one more so than the healthcare and hospitality industries, which is where medical tourism sits at the intersection.
Good. Okay. Well, those are a lot of challenges. So, by the way, just a little curiosity, what made you want to join the Virginia Military Institute? And I guess you've explained about your career path change because you figured out what there was a problem or a gap, and you founded your business to do something about it, which is, the successful people seem to all have that same trait in common. So what got you started in wanting to join the Virginia Military Institute to begin with? I'm sure a number of our people we have a lot of past military people, and they might be interested in knowing why.
Well, I think my story within the military is very common. My family has served in the military for many generations. I am the 34th person in my family to be in the military. My brother's the 35th. I was an infantry officer. He's just now getting out of the Army as an artillery officer. My dad was an Apache pilot. And so you see that example growing up.
Sure.
You feel compelled to serve. I feel like I've benefited enormously from being an American citizen, and I've got a legacy behind me that I want to represent going forward. And I knew I wanted to be an infantry officer. So I got an Army ROTC scholarship to the Virginia Military Institute, and initially went in as an international relations major, switched to economics because I thought it explained the world better than even international relations could. And then had the opportunity to be an infantry officer, had the opportunity to serve at Joint Base Lewis McChord, and the military took me all over the Pacific Rim, Australia, Thailand, Philippines, South Korea, and really had a great time. No complaints from me. I'm sure there's a big military crowd here that is proud of their service, and I'm no different. Very proud of my time and the people I got to meet.
So what's the most important thing when it comes to your business?
The most important thing, medical tourism can be very affordable, right? So the reason people consider getting medical care abroad is not because it's more convenient, because it would be much more convenient to go to a doctor in your neighborhood or in your county. And so people are going because they're price motivated, but it's very important when you engage in medical tourism to be safe, to select a really good clinic with doctors that have good reputations, that are qualified to do the procedures that you're interested in, that use quality materials. And so safety is definitely something that we preach at Apollo Medical Travel and in the industry as a whole.
I bet a lot of our listeners and readers are going to be curious as to tell us a little bit about some of the hobbies and what do you do in your free time?
So my free time, I've been traveling a lot. Even through COVID, we work with clinics in Mexico, Costa Rica, and Colombia. So I've got an excuse to bounce around between cities and see what these different places have to offer. Right before we went on air, we were talking about Medellin and how you went to the fair in Medellin. I've been to Medellin too. I've explored the city, seen some of these beautiful restaurants, got to speak with the people, go to the museums, and that's really given me an opportunity to see a lot of the world, to meet people, practice my Spanish, and that's really what I've got going on.
Tell me a little bit about what you think the future of your business looks like, and maybe give us some idea of how you would like to grow it and expand it in the medical tourism field that you are in.
So I think there are two major trends that are going to impact the medical tourism industry and the process through which people will seek healthcare abroad. The first trend is that healthcare in the United States is disproportionately more expensive than any other country in the world. And it's getting easier and easier to, certainly not in the short term here with COVID, but it's getting less and less expensive to travel. And so I think the industry is growing, and through the use of technology, a few companies are going to be seen as experts and sort of portals into the world of medical tourism. And I want my company to be right there at the forefront of medical tourism from the United States. And so I think also that COVID has shaken a foundational belief that healthcare in the United States is head and shoulders better than it is everywhere else in the world. And so people are more open to the idea of traveling for healthcare.
Yeah. And, I think Colombia needs to do something about changing its image, because I know when I went down to Colombia, it was fabulous. And I loved the people. And it was I really did. And I would like to go back. Let me ask you this question. Tell us a little bit more about how your company can save people money on their medical procedures, and maybe give some examples of the basic medical procedures. I did look at your website. I don't think it would hurt to just kind of mention a few categories that are popular that people go and do.
Okay, sure thing, Lee. So a typical patient with us is coming to us with a specific problem. So they've gone to a doctor and gotten an initial consultation in the United States, whether it's a dentist and they get x-rays to replace the missing teeth, or they go and get x-rays taking a look at their knee or a hip for an orthopedic procedure. And the first thing that they get is an outrageous quote from their doctor. And so they've got this outrageous quote. They don't know if they're going to have to take time to save up. They don't know what they're going to do to be able to afford this. And so they start looking for other options. And so when they find us online, typically people find us through Google by searching their problem, whether it's how do I get affordable dental implants, or how do I get affordable one procedure or another. And when we start that conversation, we'll ask them for their x-rays. We'll ask them for their initial treatment plan. And then we'll give them a competitive quote from a provider in Latin America. And just to give you an idea of what somebody could expect, our most popular procedure is dental implants and full mouth restorations. So in the United States, dental implants cost about $4,000 for the implant, which is the screw that goes into the jawbone, the abutment, which connects the screw and the actual crown, the artificial tooth, and the crown, which replaces the top of the tooth. And somebody who needs a full mouth restoration might be looking down the barrel of a $38,000 or $50,000 quote from their dentist in the United States. And we can get that easily down to $12,000, $15,000 at clinics in San Jose, Costa Rica, for instance. And we'll see patients save $38,000, $40,000 engaging in medical tourism. As far as some other categories, dental work by far our most popular. Orthopedic procedures are available, and one thing that I'm building out on our website is stem cell therapies. So stem cell therapies is where something like PRP, it's used to improve the function of a joint, for instance, and it's something that professional athletes in the United States swear by. So for example, there's this place called BioAccelerator in Medellin, and just a who's who of UFC fighters have gone there and swear by the results and swear that they can use their shoulders and knees and everything better having gotten stem cell therapies.
That was going to be my next question to you about stem cells, because people will be quite interested in that. So Wesley, you're ApolloMedicalTravel.com. And let me do this. Why don't you is there anything I have missed that you would like to share with our listeners and readers? You are www.apollomedicaltravel.com. And any other contact information or anything that I've missed that you would like to add to before we sign off today?
Well, Lee, I think thanks for the plug. And if anybody wants more information about medical travel, they can definitely check us out at apollomedicaltravel.com. But if you're thinking about going abroad for your medical care, just be sure to do your research. And if you have any questions or concerns, I would recommend you to reach out to a professional to assist you. It's safer that way. The communication will be more clear. And if anything goes wrong, you'll have a professional in your corner to help you resolve any issues.
Is there a phone number they can call for you guys? I thought I would ask that question too. Some of our readers don't use the internet all that much. They're a little older. If you have a general phone number, you can go ahead and plug it to me now, or if you just prefer online, either way.
Okay, absolutely. And if your listeners want to give us a call, they can give us a call at 382-4929.
Great. And if you do call, mention you heard about it on my show. Repeat that number, please.
One more time, that number is 888-382-4929.
Hey, Wesley, I really appreciate your time today, and fine interview, and what a wonderful service. And I'm sure a lot of people are going to be interested in talking to you at some point. And I might come back and do another interview on stem cells when you get that up and running.
Okay, Lee, I'm happy to talk to you about stem cells here.
Stay in touch with me when you can give me an update on specifics on stem cells. Something tells me people are going to be interested in it. So thank you for your time today, Wes, and good luck to you. And I very much appreciate your time.
Lee, thank you so much for having me on.
Bye.